What's up YouTube, it's Turbo13 and I'm just going to do a quick overview of the Apple event that happened on October 4th, which was Tuesday, which was yesterday. A very sad note though that I would like to say is that Steve Jobs has died today. I made a video about this earlier, and this was before I started making this event video, and I wanted to add that in there. And there'll be something at the end of this video right now that will just sum it all up, alright? But I'm just going to get through this right now, and then we'll get to that part, okay? So this is just what Apple released a few days before the event, and it gave people the hint that it would be on October 4th at 10 o'clock California time, and just a bunch of other stuff, so I'm just going to skip through that. The next one, this is Tim Cook, who's the new CEO. They came out and talked about the different, how many downloads, how many billions of dollars and millions of dollars they sold to developers, and how much money they made, blah, blah, blah. And then they started talking about iOS 5, which is the new thing that is coming out in October. I think it's October 12th that it's going to be released. It has notification center, newsstand, Twitter, game discovery, swipe to inbox, all new things such as Find My Friends, which is the new app that'll let you find people who also have iOS devices all around you. It's pretty stalkerish in my opinion, but whatever, it's new. There's a new camera app that you can that'll be right on the home screen. You can click it and then it'll take a picture of the second you need it to. And then the best thing of all is that it's all free. iOS 5 is free, and it does come out on October 12th. So that's pretty much iOS 5 in a nutshell. Here's iCloud. It also comes out October 12th, and iTunes Match, which comes out at the end of October. iCloud is it's like the your hard drive in the sky, pretty much. You get to save everything up to the cloud, and then you can stream it to any other iOS device that you have, which is very helpful, especially with your Mac and your iPhone and your iPad, everything. You can just stream it all together and keep them all in sync. The next thing is storage updates. You can get up to 5 GB. You can have 5 gigabytes for free on the iCloud, and you get up to 50 gigabytes per year if you really need that much extra storage. So not only can you have like a 64 gigabyte iPhone, but you can also have like a 74 gigabyte iPhone, or any other combination you want to do. You can just add to it. You can just add more and more storage if you really want to up to your iCloud service. The next, they said that they downloaded 20 million songs have been downloaded. This is the new iTunes. You can just a bunch of new iTunes Match and iTunes updates that'll be coming out. Not really that important. Here's the new lineup of iPods. Here's the iPod Nano. It's just their new lineup. The 8 gigabyte is $129, and the 16 gigabyte is $149. It's the most affordable Nano ever, as you can see right there. They have new screens such as this for the clock. This is the Mickey Mouse screen, but nobody really cares about the Nanos that much. People really care about the iPod Touches, which is this right here. This is the 8 gigabyte for $200, and it comes in white now, which is pretty cool. There's no really spec upgrades to it, just a new cover on it pretty much, which is kind of disappointing. Here's all the iPods pretty much lined up, and then here are the prices of each. You can get the iPod Shuffle for $50, you can get the iPod Nano for $129 and $149, and you can now get the iPod Touch for 8 gigabytes for $200, 32 gigabytes for $300, and 64 gigabytes for $400. But the most important thing about the event was the iPhone 4S, which is what everybody was anticipating. Actually, this is not what everybody was anticipating. Everybody was anticipating the iPhone 5, but they came out with the iPhone 4S, which is just like the upgrade from the 3G to the 3GS, which is kind of a pain in the butt in my opinion. But either way, it comes with a dual-core processor, the A5 chip. It's supposedly supposed to be up to 2 times faster CPU than the iPhone 4. Has dual-core graphics, up to 7 times faster graphics. They're really pushing how well the graphics look on this. This is the new Infinity Blade 2 game that they presented during this event, and they wanted to show how well it can run, and it can run actually pretty smooth and pretty clear on the iPhone 4S. Here's the new antenna system. They said that they're going to do one that is more like the iPhone 4 for Verizon, where they're going to switch the bands of the antenna so it doesn't give you that dropped call death grip thing that the AT&T version did. Here are the times, the hour. Here the battery life for the iPhone 4S. It has 8 hours of 3G talk time, 14 hours of 2G talk time, 6 hours of 3G browsing, 9 hours of Wi-Fi browsing, 10 hours of video, and 40 hours of music, which is all pretty good. It's pretty much the standard now for any type of phone. But those are really good specs for the iPhone 4S. Here's the speeds for the iPhone 4S, but what they don't tell you is that this will only be available for the AT&T iPhone, because AT&T only offers these kind of speeds. Verizon and Sprint don't offer these speeds for their download links or their upload links. See, the download for the iPhone 4S on AT&T will be 2 times faster than the iPhone 4, but with Verizon and Sprint, you won't really notice that much of a difference. Here are other 4G phones lined up next to the iPhone 4S. Again, you won't really see these differences between the Verizon iPhone 4S and the Sprint iPhone 4S. You will only see this in the AT&T version of the iPhone 4S. They didn't mention that. By the way, this is also a world phone, so you can choose between the Verizon, Sprint, or AT&T, and it will have a SIM card so that you can use it all over the world, which is pretty cool. Now that they finally brought it to Sprint, now there's more and more companies that can have this phone and get it to work on their service. One of the big things was the new camera lens. It comes with a 5-element lens, 30% more sharpness, and a 2.4 aperture lens. Has an 8 megapixel sensor, as a 320/64 by 248 pixels, which I think is 6 times more than the iPhone 4 had. It can take a picture in 1.1 seconds, and then it can take a second picture in 0.5 seconds. This is so much faster than any other phone out there. As you can see with the Droid Bionic and the Galaxy and the HTC Sensation, they are all just way above the iPhone 4S with shutter speed and how fast the camera can actually go, which is what they were pushing on the new iPhone 4S. The next thing is the backside illumination. You can get up to 73% more light into your pictures, so that it'll look more clear and more precise. It has 1080p HD video recording, a video image stabilization, and temporal noise reduction. So when you're recording video, it'll look crystal clear. 1080p HD recording. No other phone had this out there yet. It has video image stabilization. So if you're like moving the phone around, it will try to move. It will try to keep the video as still as it can. So it'll edit it as you record it, and the noise reduction is pretty self-explanatory. It'll get rid of the background noises that you don't want. Next, you have AirPlay mirroring. You can show what is going on your device over your Apple TV, wirelessly or wired. It's pretty cool. I've seen it done, but it's not for everybody. Probably the biggest thing next is Siri, which is their new assistant type app, which is taking over the voice control app. All you have to do is hold in the home button, and you can get this assistant called Siri, and you can ask them like, what is the weather like today? What's the upcoming forecast? Do I need an umbrella today? And they will answer it for you. You can ask it math questions. You can ask it any type of question that you can possibly think of, and it will figure it out for you. Right here, you just hold it in. This is what it looks like. It pops up. Takes about a quarter of your amount of screen at the bottom. It says, what can I help you with? Then you can talk to it. You can say any of these things, such as call Jason, play The Light in the Sun, tell Susan I'll be right there. You can text over this assistant. You can say, hey, tell Susan I will be right there, and then it will send a text message to whoever Susan is in your contact list and text out, I will be right there, and it'll send it to her. It can set up meetings. It can remind you to do stuff. It can tell you how to get home if you don't know how to do that, if you're lost. All you have to do is say it, and it'll do it for you, such as you can even do, what time is it in Paris? It will then look up what time it is that you have on your phone, then look up what time it is in Paris, France, and then tell you exactly what time it is. Google.com cannot even do this very well. You have to do a bunch of other stuff to figure it out, but this can do it right off the bat, and it can figure it out from your phone's time. The next, you can even say, like, what is the forecast for today, or is it going to be rainy? And it can give you the whole forecast, and it can read it out for you, so you don't even have to touch your phone pretty much anymore. You just have to hold in the home button. Next, you can say, like, give me directions to Hoover Tower, and it'll give you directions, and it'll even show up on the map, and it'll find the fastest route for you, and it'll even start showing you where to go just right away. And even it can do dictation, so if you need to like start if you want to text or send an email or write a paragraph or anything on your iPad, stuff like that, you can talk and it'll actually type out what you are saying. Just like have you ever heard of the Dragon software? That stuff's like a couple $100 I think, and it's pretty good. You can talk into it and it'll type the message out for you, and this is pretty much what it does on the iPhone 4S. You can even do, when you have somebody send you a text message, you can then read it out for you, and then you can reply to it or read it again, and if you reply, it'll send a message right back to them. You can even say, I can do Friday, and send it right back to the person, and it'll send it without even touching the phone. This will be in beta for English. It'll be English, French, and German, and this is all the other stuff that comes with the iPhone 4S. It comes with the A5 chip, better camera, HD recording, AirPlay, iCloud, iOS 5, and Siri. These are the huge factors in the new iPhone 4S. The iPhone 4 now will come in 8 GB, and it'll be at $99, which is a great price, in my opinion, for anyone who doesn't want to buy the iPhone 4S. A $99 iPhone 4 is amazing, so I would definitely suggest going to buy that if you haven't already have an iPhone. Here are the new prices of all the new iPhones. The iPhone 3GS will now be free with a 2-year contract. The iPhone 4 will be $99, and the iPhone 4S will be $199 and 16 GB. $2.99 at 32 gigabytes and $3.99 at 64 gigabytes. And all this will be available on October 14th. You can pre-order on October 7th, so go to Apple's website and check that out as soon as you can. So now that is pretty much just a wrap up the Apple event. And now it's very sad to say that Steve Jobs has died on October 5th, 2011, which is today, a day after the Apple event. He has been battling cancer, pancreatic cancer, for years, and it hasn't really been released what he died of, but you can pretty be certain that he died of pancreatic cancer. He has been fighting with it for years. He's been with Apple through the entire time that he's had this cancer, and he has still been able to do the keynotes. He did take a leave of absence a couple times, and Tim Cook took over for him. And then recently he did step down as CEO to focus on his health. But unfortunately he lost the battle with cancer today. And I just want to say that he was probably the most inspirational person I've ever listened to, seen, heard, read. Anything that he has done has just inspired me to do what I want to do with my life, which is technology. Just everything that has to do with him has made me want to do what I want to do with my life. And people who did get to know him, or people who have actually met him, please cherish that, because that is the one thing that I've wanted to do with my life, just to meet Steve Jobs. But unfortunately that will never happen. Hopefully I can go, maybe see where he was buried. I don't know where that's going to be. I don't know. I've just always wanted to meet this man, and I'll never be able to do it now. So that upsets me a whole lot. But he will truly be missed. He was one of the world's most inspirational people. He was a visionary. And I just wanted to say one final thing. It was probably his most famous quote, but this one has been dedicated to him. Here's to the crazy one, the misfit, the rebel, the troublemaker, the round peg in the square hole, the one who saw things differently. He wasn't fond of rules, and he had no respect for the status quo. You can quote him, disagree with him, glorify or vilify him, but the only thing you can't do is ignore him, because he changed things. He pushed the human race forward. And while some may have seen him as the crazy one, we saw genius. Because the man who was crazy enough to think that he could change the world was the one who did. Rest in peace, Steve Jobs. You will always be missed.